that DAR stands for Daughters of the American Revolution. It is a lineage society for women that is for women specifically who can prove lineage to an ancestor who fought or served in some capacity in the Revolutionary War. Common roadblocks for an individual wanting to apply for membership with the D.A.R. Usually are just knowing where or what records to look for and what they'll need for their application. Usually, when an individual is interested in joining the organization, this may have been something that they heard about via word of mouth, a friend, a family member already, someone in one of their genealogy organizations or whatnot. And usually they'll point them in the direction of the website, the D.A.R. website. On there, you can find the membership interest form, which will walk you through, ask you a couple of questions about your interest in the organization and what they try to do with that interest form is point you in the direction of a registrar in your local area who can contact you and help you with roadblocks or compiling and collecting some of the information you'll need to avoid roadblocks. So it's a really nice resource that the D.A.R. has to help interested prospective members wanting to join the organization. But yes, a lot of roadblocks with D.A.R. tend to be acquiring certain records, and that's just the same as doing your genealogy research in the usual way. You can't locate your grandfather's birth record, or you didn't have one. So what proof could you use to prove his birth and connect him to his parents for that generational link? So I think it's just having common knowledge about genealogy methodology and which records you need and where to get those records. If in the case of needing to prove an ancestor's generational link, but being unable to with like documentary or record evidence of some sort, D.A.R. does accept DNA autosomal up to the first few generations, and they also accept Y-DNA evidence. It's usually pretty challenging for most members to utilize that, but it is there as a resource. Additionally, if we're just going back to record evidence, those registrars are there to help with the harder questions. I always tell people, if they're interested in joining one of these organizations like the D.A.R., to try to do as much work as possible as they can. Try to collect the low-hanging fruit, the birth records or the obituaries or things that they already have in their family information. And then when they get stuck, that's when they really can lean on those registrars to find those creative ways and records and documents that they may not have thought of, that the registrar will know the D.A.R. will accept as proof to help them find. But it's always kind of a nice courtesy to help your registrar who's helping you, because these women are all volunteers. It's a volunteer organization. No one is, very few people are paid outside of national headquarters, but most of us, myself included, are volunteers. Useful tool that the D.A.R. has to help interested members, prospective members, is that on their website they have what's at the top of the homepage, what's called the GRS, and you could go to that part once you've identified a possible patriot ancestor, or once you know that you have a patriot ancestor in your lineage somewhere. You would go to that, and then you can see what other members have applied and might fall under that patriot, and from what child of the patriot they fall under. And then you can look at portions of their application. A lot of it is privatized. The most recent and current generations are privatized, so you're not going to see that information. But the pieces that, like, let's say you've gotten as far as your great grandmother and you know that someone else in your family has applied, and maybe in a very distant cousin from long ago, you can actually use their application information to carry the rest of your application. So you would just cite that member, their number, and then use that to get you back to the Patriot, the evidence and the proofs. Now, sometimes you may come across somebody who has applied and is a member, and their profile may be flagged. But again, that's where the registrars of the organization will really help you to like say, wait, that particular application had an issue, and this is the evidence that we may need to get to advance your app, or you may not be able to use that person's to extend your lineage.
My wandering days are over since I laid my burdens
I would have for prospective members wanting to join the D.A.R. Or something I've observed or come across is that sometimes an individual will have identified a patriot in their family tree, and they really want, it's maybe the only one they've identified, or maybe there are others, but for whatever reason, they've developed a connection to this particular patriot. That tends more times than not to be the most difficult patriot that they could try to prove their lineage to. So I just say be open to connecting to other patriot lines. First and foremost, we want daughters like myself and want to encourage other prospective members to join the organization, but not to make it too much of a task. So find the easiest patriot line, the easiest one that has good records and proof, and join on that line. And then you can work towards identifying those other patriots with the harder lineages to prove, and then submit supplemental applications once you're a member. So don't get too attached to one patriot, and just be patient. There's sometimes a lot of patience. If you haven't been conducting your genealogy for several years already, there may be records that you will need to obtain, and obtaining those records may take a couple of weeks and such. So a lot of patience is helpful with pursuing membership in the application process.